Far removed from the sophisticated jewelry shops of the world, the South Sea pearl farms of the Philippines are shrouded in mystery and romance. Of the thousands found in the Philippine archipelago, few islands are as enchanting as those in Palawan. Travelers have discovered the incredible beauty of this island group, which lies to the southwest of the Philippines. A few of the world's very best and most exclusive resorts are found throughout Palawan. Its popularity hasn't taken away anything from the mystery and romance of the country's last frontier. And to this day, much of Palawan remains remote. Distance helps preserve its jungles and pristine waters. Palawan is a jewel in the Coral Triangle, the epicenter of marine biodiversity on the planet. Hundreds of reef-building species of corals, thousands of species of reef fish, and waters so clear that it seems that you could see for miles around. Palawan exists on the borders between the civilized and the wild, at the junction between man and nature. It is, in many ways, a perfect place for the pearl. The golden South Sea pearl, prized the world over for its undeniable beauty, elegant, subtle, and luminous. The pearl harvested from the Pinctada maxima is unmatched among jewels. All pearls used to be wild, to be chanced upon inside their shells by gatherers looking for oysters. Pearls were valued as much for their rarity as they were for their beauty. Though pearl hunters began to comb the waters, finding them was more about luck than skill. There was simply no way to tell whether an oyster held the prize. In the 1970s, French-born aviator and sailor Jacques Branelac traveled to the French Polynesian islands, eventually becoming one of the pioneers of the black pearl industry in Tahiti. When he started looking for a new frontier for pearls, a series of lucky breaks brought Branelac to the Philippines. Serendipitously, Filipino businessman Manuel Cojuangco was in charge of a coconut hybridization program at around the same time. His love of the sea made him curious as to what enterprise could be done in this pristine environment, and the idea of farming pearls had come to mind. Cojuangco had already embarked on a first cursory study about the business when fate brought him and Branelac together. The two men traveled to an island in southern Palawan to study the area. Together, Cojuangco and Branelac built their first pearl farms. Christened Jewelmer, the gem of the sea. The new venture brought together marine biologists, divers, technicians, people from all walks of life, each sharing in the mission to produce the perfect golden South Sea pearl. Using revolutionary techniques discovered over the decades, Jewelmer has all but invented the process to produce this unique gem. Most importantly, the company uses non-extractive methods. This means that pearl oysters are not taken from the sea, which might endanger the ecological balance. Instead, marine biologists breed Pinctada maxima in hatcheries within the pearl farm complexes. When the oysters have matured, they are taken out to sea. Over the next few months, the juvenile oysters will be under the tender care of a team of divers and scientists. In many ways, pearl farming represents the epitome of cooperation between man and nature. Pearls must be nurtured and grown, just like any other living organism. There are few other human enterprises that are as sustainable and environmentally sound as pearl farming. Jewelmer has a very high regard for environmental conservation, which extends to our care for the communities around our farms. The farm waits. An average of 5 years comes between breeding and harvest. The wait does not always result in a pearl, but everybody lives in hope for those rare times when the oysters they've nurtured yield the perfect golden South Sea pearl. Highly skilled technicians step into the picture when the oysters are ready. Inserting a nucleus that will help the Pinctada maxima begin the process of pearl making. This is one step among many, part of an immense cooperative effort from hundreds of people on every pearl farm. Each oyster is cared for at every step by our team, making the conditions for a harvest as favorable as possible. We've learned that we can't control nature. We can only work with it. In the end, only nature decides whether all our waiting will yield a perfect golden pearl. Like all living organisms, the pearl responds to the energy around it, and it reflects that energy back. Through 2 generations now, we've learned how to work together for the perfect pearl. But more than that, we've learned to truly care, not just about the work, but about one another. At our farms, we don't have workers. We have community. We have family. The beauty and the intrinsic value of the pearl shines through in every Jewelmer Joaillerie piece. In the hands of gifted craftsmen, pearls are transformed by intricate handiwork into fine jewelry. Each piece speaks to Jewelmer's dedication to perfection and honors our heritage. The golden South Sea pearl represents the peak of pearl culture practices developed over the decades. Named the national gem of the Philippines, the golden South Sea pearl is a symbol for a country that calls itself the Pearl of the Orient. Every pearl is beautiful, not only because of its character, but also because of its origins. Because of the loving work that goes into its production. Because of its place in nature. Because of its life.